What's going on, my PT peeps? I'm Walking Dead family, my fighters. I'm one eyebrow, also known as PT. You don't know if I'm winking or blinking, but I'm definitely thinking about Fear the Walking Dead, the Season 6B trailer, a new trailer with new footage. We're going to break it down for you. So obviously, spoiler warning for Fear the Walking Dead. Now, some people, I don't know why, but some people say you post too many videos. Well, when I get information and access to a trailer, I'm going to break it down for you. You can watch the videos at your leisure. You don't have to watch them, but when we post videos every day that are high quality, and I guess I can't help myself. I get a new trailer, I'm gonna break it down for you. We have the old trailer breakdown, that some of that same footage is in this trailer, but again, new footage. And if you're not a subscriber, guys, you're missing out on daily videos. We're gonna be posting more and more videos with Return of the Walking Dead. That is this Sunday for AMC Plus members, or I guess subscribers. And show us some love by hitting that subscribe button to our channel. Here we go.
Death, destruction, decay. What is happening to the world isn't new.
So first we see Alicia. She strikes a match, she drops it, and probably burns up the walkers that are hanging inside some warehouse or a storage unit or something. But we see Alicia, it's real dramatic. But who is the gentleman talking? We see him at the end of the trailer, and we saw him before. It's a new character that actually is talking to Alicia. So we'll have to see what's in store for our group and Alicia. But again, she drops it, and you can see faintly the walkers that are next to Alicia hanging with their arms above their bodies, and it's tough to make out, but you see them. Then we see John digging a grave. You see Morgan and Dakota, and John has made the cross for the grave, and they put the hat on there, and I'm guessing it belongs to a ranger. John is actually filling in the grave, and I wonder what's up with this. A lot of people are thinking that John shoots Morgan or shoots Strand or something here, but you know, that's what trailers want us to think. Morgan pulls off the covers of a truck that we'll see later on in the trailer most likely, and there's going to be some conflict with Morgan and John. Then we see the walker being crushed, and it just looks awesome. Again, they do a great job with the walkers and, you know, the different cinematography, and it just looks great. And talking about death, destruction, decay, it's not something new, you know? So then we see people on horses walking through some water in the woods. Is it Strand and that group? Is it different rangers? Because then we see Strand, and I'm guessing that's Daniel, and I'm not sure who that is behind them. Is that Sarah? Is that another person, one of the rangers? But then we see another shot in the distance of two people walking. And I would assume it's two people who survived the lineup at Lawton that we'll see. I don't think actually anyone dies in that lineup, but you never know.
The world's been breaking down since its inception. Everything is winding down, including us.
God damn it, get off of me. It was not your choice to make.
And more dialogue about the end of times and everything's breaking down. But then you see John going back to the gas station that we saw before around his cabin. And then we see that he's also on a road that's blocked with, you know, construction stuff and signs and walkers in the distance. So how does John meet up with Morgan that we'll see later on, and they're actually fighting? Morgan has this truck with the bullet holes in it, so he's driving around after his truck being shot up, probably by a ranger that we'll see later on in the trailer. Then we see Alicia somewhere. We don't know exactly where she is, but maybe it's outside of the facility where the walkers were, but she's with other people that we'll see later on in the trailer. It's just tough to make out. Then you see Dwight, first sign of Dwight here, so he's doing pretty well, but he looks concerned. And where are they? Is this the sanctuary place that Morgan wants to bring everybody back? And then we see June, and it's kind of blurry behind her. Is someone injured? Is she helping someone? Is she helping a ranger or someone from our group? Are we actually going to lose somebody in this season, right? We're not going to lose Luciana because we see her 2 times in the trailer. And if you know this channel, you know that we're probably going to see her in the season 6 finale, into season 7, and that's just the way it goes. But there's the lineup. Then we see John pushing Morgan, and there's some sort of confrontation, and John is pissed. Morgan has a radio, and he's talking to somebody. And John tries to punch him in the face, and it comes to blows. And I think this is a misdirection where they want you to think that John is going to shoot Morgan later on in the trailer. But you see Morgan has a radio, and he says something in it, and John is pissed, and he clearly says, that wasn't your choice to make. And I think it has to do with June or Dakota, because that would probably be the only thing to set off John like this. Something in connection with June, and probably maybe even Dakota giving her back. But John is pissed.
Death is inevitable, but from this death comes new life.
And we see Althea with a pretty sweet rifle, and we see Dwight looking down at someone. Are they looking at Sherry's group? or is it at Lawton? But the lineup is at night, and that's during the day, so who saves the group in the lineup here? Daniel has a pretty big gash in his head. They're beating up Daniel pretty good, and I just doubt that they're going to kill Daniel because we see him in another shot earlier in the trailer with Strand, so he clearly gets saved, so the Strand caused the explosion and saved the day. You see the walkers coming down the street, so clearly they get through the barricades there, or our group has to go through the barricades to get to the other side of the road, and there's a bunch of walkers here. John shoots his gun, and I'm wondering if it's a misdirection for them to trick us to think that John shoots Morgan. But I think he takes out the Ranger that hogties Morgan. We'll see that later. And then we see the walker that's tied up to a tree. Is this symbolic where death brings new life? What's the point of this? And the fluorescent lights. And there's the same shot of the lineup that we saw in the previous trailer. You see Strand, you see our people on their knees, you see Daniel, Sarah, Grace, and Luciana in a lineup. Again, another shot of Luciana. So I think when you're seeing the characters more in the trailer, that means they're going to be okay. Usually they don't spoil things in the trailer. They want you to think, oh, she's in danger. Oh, she's in danger now, right? But you're going to see later on that Grace is very much safe and alive, and she survives the lineup. So that's why I don't think anybody dies in this lineup. Possibly Sarah, but you never know. Then we see all the walkers. You see John and Morgan looking at him, taking him down. John's got a rifle. Morgan's probably got his Bax, which is his hybrid custom bow staff and axe. You see Dakota inside the truck, surrounded by walkers, and I just don't know about Dakota. Is she trustworthy, or is she actually a villain who's worse than Ginny? We have a whole separate video on that. And then we see what I believe is the Ranger that John was burying earlier in the trailer, shoots up the truck or whatever's here, the hood of something, and this is probably the same Ranger that is hog-tying Morgan and dragging him along. And I'm not sure if the correct word is hog-tie, but it works here for me. Cattle tie, hog-tie, dragging along, I'm not sure, but I believe it's Morgan being dragged there. And I said this before in the other trailer, like, I think John is behind Morgan. And he's like, yep, you can clearly see it. You can clearly see it. But I made that way back when, months ago. But Morgan slices this walker in the dome, the walker falls down, and they're surrounded, so how are they going to get out of that predicament? Does Sherry save them? Dwight? Althea? We don't know. But then we see the explosion in the back. We see Ginny walking outside of the car when her Ranger is driving, so it's like, what's going on here? Who caused the explosion?
And you are Alicia. Oh, I've been looking for someone like you for a long, long time.
And then we see Althea, probably with the same rifle, talking to someone on the radio. So who is she talking to here? Is she talking to Strand that arrives at the dam where Morgan's sanctuary is? But is it Strand, Daniel, and other Rangers from Lawton? Then we see Luciana, Alicia, I think Althea with the flashlight, and Wes. And I believe they're walking amongst the walkers. And you can see the flashlight being shined on the walkers with their hands tied above their head and their lips, some of their lips sewed shut. Then we see Sherry jumping down from driving the SWAT truck. So it makes you think that Sherry is still going after Ginny to attack them. So it just makes sense that Sherry's group, they go to Lawton and save everyone in the lineup. But what's in store for these people? I'm not sure. Then we see John and Morgan mowing down the walkers that are outside the truck, and Dakota's probably in the driver's seat still. So we'll have to see how they get out of this. And then we see the Rangers in Lawton, and it looks like the explosion is about to happen behind them. And here you see Virginia, or Ginny's Ranger, helping Daniel up. So I'm guessing Daniel survives, and probably other Rangers are mowed down by somebody. Who are they firing at? Most likely Sherry's group, I would assume. And here's the shot where you clearly see Grace and Charlie at most likely Morgan's sanctuary, or the dam, whatever you want to call it, Morgan's community. And we see Morgan and Alicia. So who are they looking at? Who's arriving? Who's coming there that draws everyone's attention? Then we see this guy, and I had to cut out the part where Alicia says, well, you're the king of crazies, or the crazies are crazy, something on the line of that. But it's interesting that his dialogue says, I've been looking for someone like you, not I've been looking for you, but he knows her name. So what's going on here? Who is this guy? And is it the same guy that John talked about earlier in the season? But April 11th is when Fear the Walking Dead returns. When Alicia's there, it cuts to the end of the trailer. So April 11th, we gotta wait, a couple more months for it to return. We have The Walking Dead first, 6 episodes, and then Fear the Walking Dead will be back on. Let me know your thoughts. Post your comments below. Stay safe and tell them, Daryl.